One thing that once you're in this business long enough, you start to get excited. The first might be to, hey, let's do this because we're going to make our investors and ourselves money, which is fantastic. That should always be a part of it. But at some point, there's something, it has to be more meaningful. Has to be more purposeful.
Absolutely.
And one thing that's dear to me is sustainability. We forget sometimes that there's people in those properties, families that are creating memories and that are going to remember those for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
And we have a part of that. We're a piece of that.
Welcome to the Real Grind podcast, man. I'm super excited to finally the date is here. My name is Neander, Lima, and we've been preparing this amazing podcast for you, where you can find out about real estate while we're sipping on an awesome cup of coffee. Our journey is actually started. We went all the way to Brazil, and it's like, look, let's go to the roots. We do own a small coffee farm in Brazil, and I was like, I gotta take you guys there. And we took our whole team in there, and then we were like, let's find out the essence. My cousin's there is also work with coffee, and it was just a beautiful coffee, and then the experience was awesome. This is the goal of the show, to bring an educational, to bring a story for you to listen and make sure that everybody could do it.
Absolutely.
Right? Some success stories about real estate investing.
More episodes, more coffee.
There you go. And we're ready to get started. Let's get started.
Waking up to success, now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee. The real grind, this is the real grind. Let's go.
Hey, this is the real grind. This song, man, it's just every time. We're going to have to do a karaoke version for that.
I can see this song be playing at the clubs. I mean, next thing you know, people just jumping, right?
Jamming shit. But today we have a super special guest. He's a husband and a father, founder and CEO of Sustnbl Investment. His name is Justin Martinez. Welcome to the stage.
What is going on?
You are here, man. You are here. Welcome, my brother.
Can I tell you how amazing that video or that little opening
This is the
setup
real grind.
is?
This is the real grind.
You sent that to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a real deal,
Dude, we got
instead of
this,
the real grind, the real deal."
right? And then we got this guy to do it, and I have no expectations, right? We just having him was like, "Hey, can you record us, a rap song?" Kind of, I give us some keywords, and he came up with that, and we're like all blown away because, like, man, the first introduction actually was a little bit more corporate. It's like, no, man, the real grind is gonna be just chilling. You know what I mean?
This is you and I have known each other for how long now?
About 5 years.
5 years. And one thing I respect about Neander and the people that work for you is how authentic and true you are. And that video shows that. There's no other investor, syndicator that will do a video like that, and that's what makes it special. So I'm just privileged.
It's actually our first guest.
Yeah,
our first guest.
I'm honored. I'm privileged. This is
dude.
fun.
This is awesome, man. I can thank anybody like yourselves, man. And today we want to talk a little bit about you, my brothers. Like get to know you, get our audience to know you better, and Justin, dude, like, where are you from? Who's your little bit of background, man? Share with us, brother.
Yeah, so, I grew up, born and raised in Arlington, Texas, which is right in between Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yep.
And I was a sports guy, competitive guy, played multiple sports, baseball, soccer, and basketball, but obviously I'm too short, so that didn't work out too well. But one thing that through that competitiveness, I started, the coach of my high school called me out of class and brought me in and said, "Hey, you need to be our field goal kicker."
Wow.
I was like, field goal kicker? I don't even know how to put on any pads and all that. So he brings me out and I start kicking. And the next thing you know it, I'm at Texas Stadium, the old Texas Stadium, sophomore year in high school, kicking a 48-yarder.
Was the one right by Loop 12, right? The
Yeah,
old
Loop
Texas
12, the
Theater,
old school
man.
one, man. The
Right,
grind, the real one, the original. Now you go to the new one, and it's a little frou-frou.
Yeah, there's too much technology, too many LEDs around, man.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
are the metal blue seats, very uncomfortable and tight.
Old school,
Those the real ones.
Old
Yeah, and back at Texas Stadium, you smelled the beer and the onions being on the grill.
yes.
It was the best, right?
It was poured
the
in
greasy
into the
hand.
concrete, man.
Yeah. So I got a scholarship for place kicking to Texas State University, full ride there for place kicking. But what was interesting? They kept pushing me in the direction of I need to learn about computers. I need to learn about marketing, and I was like, well, that doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
I guess everybody's telling me to do that. And then, of course, like I'm sure a lot of stories you'll hear that come on the show that are investors. There was a little book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, wow.
Remember reading that book in the living room at my mom's on Christmas vacation. Game changer.
Dude,
of
that
being an
book has
investor
just
and marketer.
changed the life of many people, dude. It was just unbelievable.
Aha moment went off in my mind, right? Aha moment went off in my mind of all this conditioning that takes place of how you have to do things. Go to good school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, get a job, find a wife, settle down. All that conditioning that take place, it blew all that out of the water. I felt like some new life was in me of how I can pursue life from there. So that's where the journey started. And now I'm here today with you, which is exciting.
I know, man. And that mentality of like people come in and like this is the format that everybody think it is, right? It is not even your path. It is like, the path is almost put for you. Like you have to get a job and get retirement and stuff. And the leaving of being a real estate investor, which we're going to cover that in a little bit, man. But before that, when I met you, dude, I didn't know, but you had an awesome, successful business.
Yes.
And the State Fair, dude.
State
How
Fair,
did
Texas.
that get started? Like, what is the name of the restaurant?
So we no longer have the restaurant, but it was called the Lone Star Roadhouse.
Yeah.
But we do have food and beverage concession stands out there. A lot of people know the State Fair of Texas. They're known for the fried food. It's the fried
that's
capital,
awesome.
of the world, And so after I read the book, I realized my dad had a business in Kiyosaki, right? What does he say?
Yeah,
Business owner, investor. So I went to my dad, who was kind of not all in. He worked for AT&T. He was going down the path of corporate, but had this little side gig going on, the State Fair, Texas. And I raised my hand. I said, Dad, you have a business. I want to join. And he thought I was crazy. He was like, no, you need to go back to college and just go get a job. What are you talking? This is a little gig on the side. I was like, no.
This is a
Kiyosaki
business
said
right here.
That this is a business. And then he's like, okay, but you're still going to need to get a job, right? So I came on board. We had the restaurant at the time, 2 other concession stands at the time. And 3 years later, I tripled the income, tripled our personal income from it after taking around the expenses. And my dad was blown away that now all of a sudden it turned into a business that could support our family.
Wow.
24 days a year.
Yes, because exactly. That's one thing that blew me away when we were talking about this is that you only have a short period of time to make it for the whole year and be like, that's amazing, dude. So how many guests it's on the State Fair a year?
Yeah, so every year
on that period
it's
of time.
typically the last weekend in September, goes for 24 days, and they get over 3 million people during that time.
Moly.
With a
Imagine that,
focus
dude.
on buying food. It's not like, there's crafts and all that,
Yeah,
but
it's a
they're
little
coming to buy
experience,
food.
but the buying, like the experience in the state, holy cow, dude.
Yeah, it is insane. It's fast paced. It's stressful. And there's some days we'll sell 2,000 funnel cakes in one day at $10, $11 a pop, and you can do the math. And then all the other items we sell. And I'm just so thankful and privileged that we have a business that allows us to operate for such a short period of time,
Right.
that generates the income for my family. And then, of course, with that income, you know what we do next with it.
Absolutely.
Which is, of course, invest in real estate.
And dude, that's what I want to cover next. Like, how did you transition to that? How did you get started? But first, guess what time it is, man?
What time is it?
It's coffee time.
Yes.
All All right, so we have Italo here, and he's a coffee master, dude.
Right on, right on. Well, Justin,
Italo.
very nice seeing you, my
seeing you
friend.
as well.
It's very good to have you here.
Yeah.
And most of all, I want to say thank you to this guy, man. He went to Hawaii and brought us coffee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were in Hawaii the last 2 weeks, knowing that I was going to be on this amazing podcast. Megan and I were on the search for coffee to bring on the stage, and I was hoping we'd try it. So it fit perfect. This is great.
Usually, Neander suffers from me making coffee over there. He can only smell it.
It is bad because like I'm doing here and talking, but like I wish I just had from the beginning. And it's like, nope, you guys gotta wait for the coffee time. You know.
But now I'm suffering now because I can smell it, but I don't know what it tastes like. So I'm
Right?
like eager to try it out.
But look, I want to point something out. Bringing your own coffee here, man, it's like it comes with great responsibilities.
That's true. That's true. But I love the idea, the creativity, and maybe maybe this is a start of it.
You know
Right?
what I'm
Who knows? but it better not be Folgers if you're the next guest.
Yes.
Okay. It better be something unique and special.
Bustelo
And so hopefully we've at least
yeah.
met that, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
the coffee's okay, great. But at least at least we're gonna get to try coffee from
Absolutely, and then
another
you
state.
get to make fun of you publicly. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
I'm kidding, dude. I can't wait to
Yeah.
try. So, Italo, you did a little bit of research about it.
Yeah, man. Like this coffee. Fun fact about the Hawaiian coffee is the only American state that can actually grow coffee. You know,
that.
so it makes
That's
it very
interesting.
special for the Hawaiian people to know that they're the only ones that can actually give us this amazing coffee in the U.S. So Americans, if you really want to support locally or in your country,
Nationally,
nationally, you know,
yeah.
it's the Hawaii is the place to go. And I was talking to Justin a little earlier. It's very unique, man. The coffee that he brought us is from a farm that everything there is sustainable. Everything, right?
Absolutely. So it's a sustainable farm where the fruits and vegetables only go to two places. Their restaurant, which is in another city town in Maui, as this is from a little Maui proverb there that they grow this coffee on the hillside of the mountain, and the actual farm where they invite guests to come in and have a 4-course meal. Everything you eat is grown from this farm. And of course, when it's time for dessert, they obviously give you coffee. And when Megan, my wife, and I had this, we were like, okay, this is the one we're going to bring on the daily grind.
That's amazing,
Okay,
man.
so I know, hey guys, it might not be Brazilian coffee, might be Costa Rican coffee,
I had-
but hey, it's pretty decent. Okay,
Let's
It's
go.
pretty decent.
Let's go.
Yeah. So here, Justin, I want you to grab yours right here.
Okay, thank you.
Neander, go ahead and grab yours as well. I
right,
don't want to
let's
reach
do
over.
it.
One thing that I want you guys to notice on this coffee, too bad you guys can't see this at home, but you can see all the oils. Just kind of like if you put it against the light, you can see. This is good coffee, man, because if, like I said, if you get some Folgers in it, you're
Is
not
it
going to see that.
Interesting.
It's interesting, yeah. So that's all the oils
coffee
from the
connoisseurs. Y'all need to talk.
So
talk
before
to
we
them.
try it out, smell it, give that good smell.
It smells good.
Like we said in the first episode, now you're gonna drink it like you're drinking a hot soup.
Okay.
So you're gonna allow all the oxygen to go in your mouth, and you're
Okay.
gonna get all the notes from that coffee in there.
Dude, this is so good. Like, we've been trying actually because we just came back from Brazil. I've been trying a lot of Brazilian coffee, and this one is really good.
You know what's funny though? One of the coffees sometimes you see on the label that it has notes of beer. I think this is the first one I get a little bit of note of like
Yeah,
the
Definitely the hops, man.
the
of
hops.
beer.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I like it. I like it.
So, dude, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's thank you once again, Justin. I'll let y'all get to all the stories, man, because I'm over there listening to all these things, and I've been in Texas for over 12 years now, and I've been going to the state fair, but hearing the ins and outs, like all the stuff that goes on behind it, man, is very
It is
very
just
interesting.
amazing, man. And this guy here, he's
love
very
it.
talented.
I love it.
Thank you for the try of the coffee, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And I'll be waiting for you guys
so
in the end.
do I get a thumbs up for the coffee I brought? Is it pretty good?
Okay, score out of 10.
Score to 10. I think that's something that you guys.
That's an 8. for
An
me.
8? Ah.
Absolutely. Very
I'll-
good.
I'll- I'll give
I was
you-
a little skeptical when you bought, and I was like,
I'll give him an 8.5 because I think that's the first time I get the notes like that I never felt before. So
yeah.
good choice, man.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate
go.
you. All
I'm
right.
glad I could bring it.
I'll
All right.
talk to you in a little bit.
All right, Justin. So I want to know now, dude, how was the transition of you're getting a successful business and making, obviously impress your dad. And it's something about when you're a family guy. When you impress your family put that trust in you, and your father's like, man, you guys can do this.
Sure.
But I want to know, that's a very good sense, right? And I want to know, how was that from that to the real estate investing?
Yeah. So, that is a great point, because when you're transitioning into this new person, and then in this case, going from somebody that was thinking about, I need to go get a job and settle down and do that path, to going totally different, that could be risky to a lot of families. This is something that you and I talk about all the time, and others in our industry. But if you go into a new environment, it's very different. It's very risky to them. And so from that perspective, my family was definitely concerned that, hey, what are you doing? You're not going down this safe, secure path. And I think in life in general, the people start getting on board is when they start seeing the passion and your resolve and you're knowing that this is the path that I'm going on. And you're going to, not necessarily have to be on the same train as me, but you're either going to support me or I'm going another direction.
Right.
And so I noticed that just by having that resolve and knowing and just confidence, people naturally cling to that and say, wow, this person obviously has a little bit something inside them. They start to slowly support you, because if you have any type of not sure, people can sense that too, and they can push you in another direction.
And when you have the attitude, let's call it, you start getting a track record. I was like, man, everything that Justins do, it's, and people start trusting that way.
Absolutely.
Until you're like, when you have that passion, it's like me, I cannot do anything that I'm not passionate about it. I cannot just do something small. It's like, I got to just go all in, research and do it big and do it nice, and that's what make it, passion, dude. It's that fire.
It's fire.
It's the real grind.
It's the real grind. And that's what I see in you and you're here. I see that. I have no doubt where you're taking this. You're going to be helping your investors out, your family, your employees. Everybody's going to go on this journey with you, but it starts with the CEO and the person at the top, and they can see it in you. And I felt like that's how it just permeates through you, and people want to be a part of that. They want to join that. They want to say, I want to go where this guy's going. Starts with that passion.
It's same to you, and that's the reason I'm here, because I actually admire you, man, and I'm a big fan of you. And so, what was you started with that, and then I was like, man, why'd you heard about? You started writing multifamily, or as a single family, or what was your?
Well, it all starts with a dream and vision, right? There's a reason why we do certain things, and I've always had a desire for freedom, and I've finally at this age I've come
desire for freedom.
Yeah, to explore.
Yes.
To try new coffees around the world. Okay.
Yes.
I want to be, in these places and experience these cultures, these beautiful mountains and oceans and rivers. Life's too short. Okay?
Absolutely. Dude.
And so when you're talking about the state fair, it's 24 days. I make my money and I'm done. And so I'm able to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what other business model would allow me to continue to do that when I'm not doing the state fair? So through research, I started with single family, a little bit of a grind there. And then through the same pursuit of something better, came with in front of a mentor that showed about multifamily and the economies of scale of multifamily by having a management company and having team members allow you to continue to follow my journey, which is now finally I've defined, those three words that I want while I'm on this planet. Which is discovery. I want to be able to discover new things, right? Explore. I want to always be in an exploratory mindset of like discovering all these new things about this planet, myself, my family, just alive, right? And then the last one is aliveness. I want to experience aliveness. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't want to experience aliveness? And so through that pursuit of that, knowing I needed some money, because we all do.
Of course, that's important, right? Exactly.
That might help with my journey to that, right?
Especially only come so far, right? We need, after the grind, we need to get paid, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If I want to start doing all these things, it's going to take money. And so multifamily, just through the research that we've had, that I did, said this is it. And that's where that mindset shift had to change, because at the beginning, I didn't have that. I didn't think I was good enough to go from single family to multifamily.
And isn't it interesting because like everybody thinks that, hey, getting into real estate is buying a house, putting tenants on it.
Yep.
Right. And that's exactly what, we did. And a lot of people do that. It's very, I've seen people that got directly to multifamily, but actually when you don't have any knowledge, that's usually when you think, right? You just got to, but imagine the scalability from having a portfolio of houses, to have the decent cash flow as you have on a multifamily, 50 houses, you know what I mean? Like it's just the economies of scale, dude.
Absolutely.
And of course everybody's scared, and it's great to see that you got out of. So what was a shift there from the multifamily, from the single family? It's like, man, that's an opportunity here to multifamily.
Well, you know what the biggest secret is? Here's the biggest secret. You can read all the books you want on multifamily or any subject you want to take for that matter. The biggest secret is you got to be around the people that are doing that.
That's absolutely, dude.
Because if you're not around that, it doesn't feel real. But as soon as you get around people that are doing it, are doing well, and that are successful at it, you realize something. You realize they're as human as you are. And you're like, well, if they can do it, I think I can do it too. But then you start to emulate them and the way their patterns, their habits, their, the way they communicate, their relationships, the way they go about their business, and it starts to become you. And then eventually what happens, you become that, you manifest that. And so being around those people allowed me to get to back to that mindset that I can do this. Because before I was working in a silo, just educating myself on my own, it was too far. It didn't feel real. I couldn't taste it. I couldn't touch it. And so it didn't seem like it was possible.
Right.
But then as soon as you're around that environment, so it makes you think, what's the next level for us? And who do we need to be around to make that happen, right?
Absolutely, man. Is how we always got a room to learn, to scale and everything. And what was your first apartment complex, dude?
Oh, it was a 84 unit apartment in Oklahoma City, which we still have today. It's Highland Oaks Apartments in War Acres, Oklahoma, right out a little west of Oklahoma City. And to this day, we still own it, unfortunately. And it actually has been the worst investment that I've had.
Are you serious?
And we're going
to the first one.
The first one. And we're going to sell it and make a lot of money for investors now, but the cash flow. But what I find fascinating is that could have really affected my growth. I could have taken that and been like, this is not going to work for me. But I kept going. And, as far as, if I, being a passive investor, I think that's important because you're having passive investors watch this podcast. Not all are going to go according to plan. But in multifamily, the majority definitely go according to plan and do well. I've got, since then, gone full cycle on 12 deals. Most of those we've, made double-digit returns for our passive investors. And, back then I wasn't really a passive investor because I didn't have the kind of cash to invest. But now, obviously, I am 100%, about 90% of my money is invested with multifamily investments with strong syndicators. And of course, I've invested with you guys.
You did, man.
I did.
And you sure did. And the day you invested, I actually sent a video. It was like, it talks about, remember what we were talking earlier about the trust of your friends and family?
Yes.
That it means a lot more than maybe a trust of a stranger, right? Because your family, they're going to be the most critical of you sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right. And when you do something right and people will be like, wow, I like what you guys are doing. And, just like I also invested in one of your deals in Houston West Chase portfolio. And, because of the trust.
Right.
We invest in each other's deals. And that's what people think is like, oh, only invest, I don't want to invest passive. It's like, but when you start going full cycle, you got to invest money.
You have to.
Diversification.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, the tax benefits, there's no,
right.
Like we know this business, you and I, and it's just a little bit of education. We don't have to be a syndicator to be a passive investor, but just understanding it a little bit more and get a little educated on it makes it so much more predictable and better returns than if you just invest, which we call the stock market casino.
Right. Absolutely.
Makes no sense.
And it's especially now, dude, like, you have over 20 properties that you already, experienced. So you're your portfolio, you have a lot of experience, right? Because over the years, you've probably seen it all, a lot of different circumstances, investments, and so when you're underwriting a deal, I'm pretty sure that I remember when we were doing Deli and I were doing some coaching sessions with you, just your thought process of some of the stuff. Hey, I experienced this in my properties. This one works. This doesn't work. So it's come a lot faster, if you will, because of knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously the more you do it, right? The more underwriting, which Deli is a superstar at underwriting, is the more you see things. And it starts to make sense and evolve, and you see opportunities. And when I coach, I tell the new people trying to underwrite, or even if you're a passive investor trying to see if this deal makes sense, right? Like you said, you invest with people you know, like, and trust. But then obviously the deal, does it make sense?
Right.
And the more you're looking at these opportunities, the more you're starting to see patterns and things of the sub-market, the actual underwriting and deal, and then it becomes transparent to you if the deal makes sense. And that's how we invest today. I mean, that's how I decided to invest with you guys on your conservative underwriting, on the team, like you said, right? I know for one thing that that your team is going to lay it all on the line for that deal.
Okay, Justin, talk to me a little bit about Sustnbl Investments, dude. You're founder and CEO. How did that guy started, and what is...
Yeah, so Sustnbl Investments, we spell it a little differently. But one thing that once you're in this business long enough, you start to get excited. The first might be to, hey, let's do this because we're going to make our investors and ourselves money, which is fantastic. That should always be a part of it. But at some point, there's something, it has to be more meaningful. It has to be more purposeful.
Absolutely.
And one thing that's dear to me is sustainability. When you think of sustainability, most people think of, hey, putting solar, and wind farms. No, sustainability goes deeper than that. Sustainability of your community that you invest in. Mm-hmm. We forget sometimes that there's people in those properties, families that are creating memories and that are going to remember those for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
And we have a part of that. We're a piece of that. Sustainable communities, that's a big part of it. My sustainable team, everyone that you have working with you, I don't say working for you, working with you.
With us, absolutely. We say that all the time.
Sustainable partners, sustainable relationships. How can we make this beneficial for the people that work with us, that they are also learning to grow, learning to be their highest best self, and in having an extraordinary life beyond, hey, I go work for Sustnbl Investments. Here's what I do.
Yeah, I got to clock in. Hey, man, I got these things. You know,
and you and I relate. We're very similar in that way, because you take care of your people. I see it, and we're the same way. There's no way that I would run a business where I was only being the beneficiary out of this relationship.
Absolutely. And that aligns with their properties too, just like you said, right? The community that we invest on is actually making a huge impact there too.
Absolutely.
So it's the whole circle, man.
Big circle.
Yeah.
And sometimes we lose sight of that. We think it's just numbers.
Absolutely.
But when you go to those communities and you see those tenants and their family, you're like, wow, I'm actually a part of that.
Absolutely.
The amenities that we give them, a safe place to live, secure place to live, we're part of that, and that's special.
We're a really big fan of that. The same thing, man. And that's great, dude.
Absolutely.
But what is the direction that you guys we're going with that business? Is that more acquisition or more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So as we evolve, we're becoming more interested in the sustainability factor of, like I said, communities of our people, but then the properties as well. I'm a big fan of hey, how can we make the properties more sustainable? Water conservation, utility conservation. How can we make it more eco-friendly? How can we bring that into the equation as we continue to populate? There's only so many, the resources we have on this planet. And so bringing that into it as well. And then at some point, doing some give back and going to other communities around the world and actually volunteering and helping them as well is going to be a big part of our mission as we move forward.
Absolutely. And just if you're going to get a message for somebody that just started investing in real estate, no matter where, what is, we talked about a lot earlier about the mindset. So what would you have to say?
Well, like I mentioned, I think you got to get around people that have that mindset. And it starts with little things like this podcast. If you consistently watch this podcast, you're going to be able to listen to people that have that higher frequency of a mindset, and you start to believe that and think that. Then the next step, of course, you got to get involved. Go to a meetup. Find a way to get in front of these people, regardless of how insecure you may be, or these people are better. It doesn't matter. We're all human beings. We all put our pants one leg at a time, like everybody else. Get around those, because you'll soon find out we're all human beings.
Right.
We can all make this happen. It's about vision. Manifesting is the biggest thing. And if you're able to visualize where you want to go, you're going to find a way to make it happen. And so you got to get around the people that are already doing what you want to do.
Thank you, man. That's awesome. But now it's part of the show. The audience would like to know a little bit
Okay.
a little bit better.
Let's
and
do
that's
it.
the time that we're going to spilling the beans with Justin Martinez.
Love it.
All right. You ready? Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tacos or burgers?
Oh, tacos.
Martinez or Hernandez?
Oh, come on, Martinez.
On the real estate, chiller properties or non-chiller properties?
Non-chiller.
I know, man. Jesus Christ. Interest rates, floating or fixed rate?
Fixed.
Hey. State fair or stockyard?
Oh, State Fair, buddy. You know
Hey,
that.
man. Mornings or evenings?
Ooh, mornings. Mornings.
Are you a morning person?
Morning guy? Yeah, absolutely. So
There's
it all
usually
starts.
another regular comment here, man.
New beginnings.
New beginnings, new mornings, new sunrises.
That's right.
RV, boondocking, or luxurious hotels.
Both. But I'll take RV.
Dude, and actually, thank you so much for coming to the show today, man.
It was
This is
great.
complete. This is Spilling the Beans
I love
with
it.
Justin Martinez. Justin, man, this was super great to have you on the show, dude. You're actually, able to. Your story is very inspiring, dude.
I appreciate that.
And thanks for bringing the coffee. Thanks for being a friend. And
Absolutely. To the end,
that's
buddy.
important, dude.
Absolutely. Appreciate
And that's it, man.
that. Well, thank you, brother.
Thanks for being the first guest
I'm honored. This is awesome.
at the
You guys
Rio
are awesome. I
Grind.
feel like I'm on the Jimmy Kimmel set, man, with the little Italo in the corner like this.
Dude,
This is
yeah.
kick-ass.
Here to serve. Here to serve.
And we're
try
gonna
to,
go
you know.
out there, and Gito's gonna make a nice cappuccino for us, dude.
I'd
That's
love one.
Oh,
I'd love one.
yes.
Come on over.
Let's do it.
You got it.
Right, you guys, thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. We're going to have a lot more guests like Justin Martinez to come in and share a story with you so it can inspire you so you can as well invest in the real estate. Thank you so much for watching The Real Grind. My name is Neander Lima. Let's go.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Real Grind podcast. You can watch the full episodes on YouTube or Facebook. Also, listen to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. So make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all the social media platforms so you can never miss out the next episode or what's about coming up with coffee. Anything about coffee in real estate, we'll be there. I'll see you on the next episode. The Real Grind.
All right, so if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started and invest in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/the Real Grind. Thank you so much. We can't wait to come in the next episode and see you.
Waking up to success. Now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.